Well, Finn, it's the end of 2019.
It's the end of
the end of a decade.
It is.
There were pretty good movies this year. Some
This year was
some
good.
big hits.
2017 was probably the best year of the whole decade.
Oh, it's hard to beat that year. It's hard to beat that year.
And last year sucked.
2019 was great though.
2019 was amazing.
So
incredible. it really filled that hungry void in my soul.
It really
for good
did.
Movies.
Yes.
Because
I was nervous about this year. I'll say it.
I was too.
I was
especially
not
right off the bat. There were a lot of movies. I think you'll notice that a lot of the movies that we're going to be talking about in this video come from like May-ish, June-ish, and later.
Yeah. Because
up until that point, you had like Us and Shazam and Captain Marvel and like movies like that weren't. I mean, you didn't even see Shazam or Captain Marvel.
I did not.
But there were a lot of movies that I saw that I came out of the movie going, that was fine. It wasn't even bad so much as it was competent and not much else.
Yeah.
And I was really hungering for like original ideas and interesting concepts for films. And the rest of the year kind of delivered on that in a lot of ways. There were some horrible movies.
There were bad movies this year.
But there were some really, really great ones.
There were some really solid.
Some of my favorite movies
like ever.
Yeah.
Like, at least 3, which is great.
Same here.
That's what I need.
Maybe 4.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But I would say both of us now have the same favorite film of all time.
And that is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I'm Rick Dalton. It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin. Put it there. That your son?
No, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Last night, we watched a Rick Dalton double feature. All the shooting. I love that stuff, the killing.
A lot of killing.
Now, if you know me, I've seen this movie, I saw it 5 times. Well, I saw it 4 times in the theater. With all of my family. Yeah. Immediate and, extended. I could not get enough of this film. We've talked about this movie a lot.
We have. This movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is painstakingly slow and precise in its editing and pacing.
And I think that's what makes the ending so much better.
That's what. Yeah. Let's talk about the performances in general.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 to really talk about.
Yes. Leo DiCaprio and
Brad Pitt.
Who
gives
both are Golden Globe nominated this year for their performance.
I would say more than Leo DiCaprio. Brad Pitt is easily the best supporting performance I've seen all year.
Brad Pitt is cool guy. He's just cool guy.
Is so incredibly cool. I was really surprised because it's like my favorite movie I've ever seen. I mean, you can just tell
so much work was put into it.
That Tarantino cares.
Yeah.
Like you don't get that with every movie.
No.
You really don't. And this year really showed that because there was such a stark contrast between the movies I saw where people clearly cared and the ones I saw where they didn't.
Right.
And this was a shining light in the middle of a kind of sad summer.
Yeah.
We both had very different worst films of the year.
We did.
I think I was going to talk about mine first.
Go for it.
My worst film of the year was a film called Blinded by the Light.
Still coming to my party tonight?
Yeah, of course.
Emma's mates are coming, and I know one who would be perfect for you.
She's not fussy.
Really?
First day, start at the top and stay there. Stay away from the girls!
I want to be a writer, but my family is stuck in another century.
Writing isn't a job. I need you to do more.
Make a wish, beta.
Kiss a girl and get out of this dump.
It's a shitty biopic about a
he wrote
guy
a
who
book.
doesn't matter.
Didn't he write a book?
Yeah, I mean it was about a guy's self-discovery, and it was about like politics, and it had all these dumb messages about family and stuff.
Really,
that were just pandering and stupid, and it wasn't. It wasn't well written.
No,
but it was pretty awful. It made me really upset watching it because it's just stupid.
I think it's because of the acting. I think it's how the movie's written. Because they do this thing in the movie where they'll say lyrics from the songs, and it's just, like, very cringy. They'll be like,
it is a
baby, there ain't no going back. I see you in the wings. I just want to die. And then it starts playing the music, and then they go into these musical numbers from just Bruce Springsteen
Yeah,
songs.
except the musical numbers are like...
They're just so
like the
not
guy
colorful.
running around in
The
the
guy
dark for no
works
reason.
on, like, a street side clothing mart and just starts dancing and singing, and the whole town's like, yeah!
Well, that's the scene where he gets the girl.
That is.
His friend's dad works in the street
That's
side
right.
clothing mart.
But he gets a job there to help out his family.
Because his dad, yeah. But his friend is kind of a bad friend, and his other friend is a bad person.
Yeah.
And the dad is like really strange person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I don't know.
dumb things and bad characters and bad writing. Yeah, it should have been a TV movie.
It should have been a TV movie.
It would have been a decent TV movie.
Yeah.
But they released it
Like,
in
if
a
I saw
theater
that on, like, fucking
on Lifetime.
ABC or
Yeah,
something.
I would be like, yeah, it's
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
I won't watch it,
No.
but I'm not mad that it exists.
Yeah.
But because they released it in a theater and they sucked their dicks about it afterwards and all that, I was mad about it. I bet you it is not as bad as your least favorite movie.
My least favorite
Because
movie.
I didn't even want to see that.
Yeah, no. It's called Booksmart.
Good morning, winner. Take a deep breath. Visualize the mountain of your success and look down at everyone who's ever doubted you. Fuck those losers. Fuck them in their stupid fucking faces.
And Booksmart is a super bad knockoff piece of shit. I'll just describe the plot to you. So it's about these two girls and their whole high school life. They've been super academic focused.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of their high school career, there's this party. And they're like, we have to prove to everyone and ourselves that we can be fun. We've been so focused on our academics this year that we just need to let loose and have a great time. Which is not a bad premise for a movie.
Yeah.
It could work.
Yeah.
And so they go to this party,
Mm-hmm.
and it just turns into like a teenage soap opera where this guy that Beanie Feldstein likes is dancing with another fucking girl or swimming in the fucking pool. There's not much to say about this movie. It's not funny. There's just nothing to it. I will say, though, the movie does have these warm colors to it. That is the one thing I enjoyed, the color palette, and what the costumes were. The costumes worked really well with the lighting, and the lighting of this film was incredible. You get a lot of these really sharp blues of, like, the pool lights, and then the outfits are these blues and yellows, and then you have this warm, like, ambiance kind of color thing going on, and that made me kind of want to see what they were doing next. But nothing fucking happened.
Speaking of awful pieces of shit, did you see Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker?
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
Pretty good, Finn. Star Wars has been causing a lot of...
Well, the thing with this movie was nobody gave a shit until it, like, came out.
Yeah.
Like, the week it came out, people started talking about it, but up until then, there was no hype for this movie at all.
That's true.
I would say I compared this to Aquaman. after I saw it. It really did feel like Aquaman in that it's not as bad as Aquaman.
Right.
Because there are some legitimately great things. But it's a clusterfuck. It's a complete clusterfuck.
How so?
It is a movie that is chock full of excuses for why The Last Jedi, you can just ignore it. Trying to make up for The Last Jedi, and trying
I think that's what it had to do.
I don't think it
Because everyone hated that movie, Finn.
Not everybody did.
Everyone
it was divisive. It split people down the middle, is really what The Last Jedi... There are a bunch of Last Jedi fans, like myself. I liked certain things in The Last Jedi. And yes, shoving Rose off to the side, great idea.
Yes.
You could have shoved Finn off to the side, and it would have been a great idea. But there was too much... Your parents were junk traders, but your grandpa was the Emperor.
Kylo Ren becomes a good guy.
Kylo Ren, yeah. And that was the interesting stuff. I would say the most ironic thing about the movie is that it's a movie that is constantly apologizing for The Last Jedi, and the only good thing in it is something that was basically a direct result of The Last Jedi, which is that relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren, where they see each other and they have that...
Yeah, I will say the best part of this movie
that is by far the best part.
Rey and Kylo Ren's kind of...
Which is Rian Johnson's idea from The Last Jedi, like, mostly.
But I think J.J. Abrams did it more successfully than Rian Johnson did.
I thought their relationship was super compelling in The Last Jedi. That's the reason I liked it.
I thought it was not compelling at all. I'm going to be comparing this movie a lot to Endgame, because Endgame and Rise of Skywalker, to me, felt very fan service. Except, I don't give a shit about fucking Endgame.
I felt like
don't care.
I felt like Rise of Skywalker was
Rise of Skywalker was extreme fan service for me. Every time something I knew, like, I totally fed in, like, as soon as the first frame started. And I just accepted it. And for Endgame, I just didn't get into that. And I don't know why I didn't, but this, I was just more inclined to just enjoy myself and have a good time. I think it's because Star Wars was just a bigger part of my childhood than Marvel. Alright, I'll say this. The movie was not perfect. I have a lot of issues with the movie.
No. Yeah, and this is one, I don't complain about plot holes a lot.
No.
Yeah, because I don't find it to be, like, legitimate film criticism for the most part.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, when you're sitting in the theater and you're just going, what? Why? Why would you... No, stop. What?
I wasn't doing that.
Like, for me, it was constant. The whole movie. Not a single decision a character made sense.
I disagree.
Except for a few very small ones that more had to do with Rey and Kylo Ren and their relationship.
The only thing I really didn't understand was that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter.
That's such a stupid thing. When The Force Awakens came out, Rey was not the Emperor's granddaughter.
Well, no, because when New Hope came out,
no,
I mean,
yes, and that's a perfect.
Darth Vader wasn't even Luke's father.
Yes.
Luke and Leia weren't brother and sister. It looked better. It felt right. I'm sorry. This is really
hate J.J. Abrams' visual style.
Really,
I hate it so much.
I really
His camera movements are such
weird
swipes.
Really nice. I think the reason that J.J. Abrams is getting hired for all these like Star Trek and all that is because he is a fanboy. He is like a fanboy director.
He's like Jeff Johns. He's the Jeff Johns of cinema.
He puts everything he wants in a movie, and it appeals to the most people.
That's exactly why it reminded me of Aquaman, because Jeff Johns did the story of Aquaman, and he shoved in every Aquaman thing that's ever been in a comic into one movie.
I don't think J.J. Abrams shoved in every Star Wars thing into
I think he did.
He did not. There was not a single AT-AT in this film, my friend.
Speaking of all those radical epics, we're going to talk about the most anticipated and most epic film of the year, Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
That's right.
You know the jungle. It's a part of you. But exploring is not a game. And you don't look before you leap.
I'm okay, Boots.
We watched this separately from one another on an airplane.
I hated this movie. But it was better than I expected.
I almost liked Dora.
Oh my god.
What is it called? Dora and the Lost City of Gold. I almost liked it.
This movie is just bad.
I can't say that it is.
I say it is.
It reminded me of like a Spy Kids or a Shark Boy and Lava Girl,
which are bad movies.
The guy who plays Diego in this movie,
he was actually okay.
He was funny.
Yeah,
he was like this great straight man comedy actor who was just like,
bad.
Why are you being like this?
Dora was fine too. She was
Dora
what Dora was
excellent.
Yeah.
She went all in playing Dora the Explorer. You understand? And that's what's so charming about the movie to me. I love it. The bad guy.
That guy was awful.
So fun.
So stupid.
He's goofy.
No.
But he's fun. He's like having a fun time being this like really like crazy dopey guy. He made all these jokes about how like pathetic he is and how pathetic his life has been, and then he like turns into the bad guy and he goes like full evil for no reason.
It's bad. I can't believe you like this movie. This movie was so bad.
I thought it was really charmingly silly and goofy and a really good kids film. If you have children,
if you have children, they will love this movie. I will say that. I really enjoyed the opening when they had like them playing in the toy Jeep. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they had like making up this
kind
kind
of.
Can you say nothing, man?
Yeah.
That was sweet. I was like, okay, they're kind of putting a little twist on the TV show kind of thing.
Yeah, this is one of those really rare movies they don't make anymore that, like, little kids will watch, and it will stay classic to them.
That's right.
As they grow older. So, like, kids who are, like, teenagers in the late 2020s will all remember watching the Dora movie. And on the polar opposite side of things from Dora and the Lost City of Gold, would you like to talk about Paddleton?
So I'm thinking, before it gets bad, I want to end it. I don't want to change things, you know? I want to make some pizzas. I want to play some Paddleton. They got a whole process that they give you these pills you can take, but I don't want to do it alone, and I was hoping you would help me out.
Don't drop it! The places where you could fulfill the prescription is 6 hours.
Guess we're gonna do a little road trip.
What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? We run out of gas here. Next thing you know, we're drinking our urine.
How do you get from running out of gas? The next step is drinking urine.
Fastest land animal, 40 miles an hour.
The cheetah goes 60 or 65.
I'm the dying guy. I'm the dying guy. Stop saying it. I'm the dying guy. I'm the other guy.
Fake it.
Yes.
I did not see this.
All right, Paddleton. Every time I say Paddleton, people are like, Paddington, the fucking bear movie. I love that movie. Good movie. And I say, no, Paddleton. And they go, oh.
It's where Ray Romano.
What is that?
It's a bear.
So, Paddleton is a 2019 dark comedy. It stars Ray Romano and Mark Duplass. So Ray Romano and Mark Duplass live in this apartment complex, and one lives on top of the other, right? So, and they kind of just go to each other's apartment and they watch these karate movies. That's like their thing. So throughout this whole movie, that's like this one thing that they really want to hold on to, and they're like best friends, right? And Mark Duplass's character gets diagnosed with terminal cancer, as all cancers are. No? I take it back. So he gets diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he's told, like, it's going to be, like, a painful life for you in the future. So Mark Duplass makes the decision to take, like, basically they're suicide pills. Mm-hmm. They're pills that just end his life. So but they're, like, you have to pick them up in person, and they sell them at very few pharmacies. Because they kill people. So they have to go on this road trip to get this medication. And Ray Romano is like, I don't want you to do it, man. I'm going to miss you too much. But they just have to kind of, like, both kind of get over, like, this thing of, like, I know you're going to miss me. I'm going to miss hanging out with you too, man. I don't know Mark Duplass is like, what's going to happen to me after death? Like, I don't know. I'm scared. Like, he's scared, but at the same time, he's like, I have to do this. And Ray Romano's like, you don't have to do this, please. And it's really funny. There's, like, so many great scenes. Ray Romano buys, like, a piggy bank from, like, a Target that has, like, Peppa the Pig or some shit. And he, like, hides the medication in there and locks it up with a code. because it's like one of those locked piggy banks, and the guy and Mark Duplass is like, "Where's my medication?" And he's like, "I don't know." And he sees the piggy bank, and he's like, "Is it in there?" He goes, "I don't know." and so they have to like bang it open. It's great. It's super funny, but at the same time, there's still this like heart to it. And at the end of the movie, he does end up taking the pill, and he passes away. The colors are great, and it looks fantastic, and it's this like drowsy sort of feeling. You just feel like sick in your stomach, but at the same time, you can't help but enjoy yourself while watching it. It's really interesting, and I really want you to see it. Yeah, it's great. It's sitting at like number 7 or number 10 for me. Yeah, this year.
The next film we're going to talk about is called Honey Boy.
I see you. Concentrate real hard. Be a 12-year-old. Pie fight. Ugh.
It's not a pie fight.
Think it through. What's your mother got a job for?
Just in case.
In case what?
I don't
In case
know.
you fail. In case it don't work out. Yes, man. She's filling your head full of fear. I pump you full of strength. Because we're on a team, and I know you got what it takes. You're a star, and I know it. That's why I'm here. I'm your cheerleader, honey boy.
It's written by Shia LaBeouf.
Yes,
Shia LaBeouf. As
Shia
Shia LaBeouf's father, or an allegory for him.
Shia LaBeouf went to rehab, and he wrote this script while he was in rehab in real life, and it's about him growing up with his father and like being on that Disney show. What the fuck was he on?
Even Stevens.
Even Stevens. I really hope he gets a nomination at the Oscars because he was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, he's an excellent.
I think he's talented. He gets a lot of shit, but people need to just forget about the past.
Yeah.
But this film was fucking incredible.
I would not call it fucking incredible.
I thought it was fantastic.
But it is very personal.
Visually, I mean, all those colors, those purples, those whites.
There's
so
some good
rich.
colors, and there's some good cinematography, and then there's some that's not.
I don't know, every shot just feels so in it. Even in a wide shot.
Yeah, the
very
filmmaking makes it, definitely delivers on the script being that level of personal. We can move on from Honey Boy, probably. Missing Link, on a much happier note.
Missing Link time.
Legend tells of a lost species, a link between man and beast. For centuries, he's lived in hiding, but at long last, he's reaching out and ready to be found.
It's still there. Excuse me. Hi. You can speak. Yes, and I write as well.
Laika is a studio we love a lot. They made, I would say every other movie they make is really, really great. Coraline, Paranorman, Box Trolls, Kubo.
Haven't seen
Great.
it.
I love Kubo. Kubo and the Two Strings is one of my favorite
animated
movies ever. And then this, which is
they broke
right in the middle.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Kubo or Paranorman.
I have not seen Kubo.
It's not as good as Paranorman.
It's not as good as Paranorman.
It is
but
not,
Paranorman
it is far
is
better.
a gem of a film.
Yeah, Missing Link is far better than Box Trolls and
yes.
Hugh Jackman plays
Jackman.
an adventurer explorer guy who wants to be accepted into this club of adventurer explorers
of like
and he
hunters.
He hunts cryptids, and the opening of the movie is so fun.
Yes.
He's hunting the Loch Ness monster. And
great sequence.
It's a really, really funny because he treats his
assistant
sidekick like shit,
Yeah.
which sets up his character because
Yes.
he's a very selfish guy. And then over the course of the movie, he grows. He gets a letter saying that over in the American, Northwest, which the movie takes place in like the 1800s.
Right.
So it's like before they've really, really solidly colonized the American Northwest. Like we don't have states over here yet. But he travels over to the American Northwest and tries to find Bigfoot. Turns out the letter was sent by Bigfoot, and Bigfoot can read and write and speak.
Yes.
And he's played by Zach Galifianakis.
Which is great.
Yes.
I
and
don't
he's
even
very
like
fun.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, but he's a very fun little guy.
Yes.
He's I would say he's not even funny so much as he is just sympathetic,
cute.
which I think is more just because of the animation.
Yes.
He's such a cute character model.
And everything just looks...
Yeah, I mean, Kubo, I would say, is their masterpiece of animation because it's a movie about a person who can make shapes and constructs out of paper.
Right.
So there's all these sequences of paper swirling together to create those things, which is such a beautiful thing.
What Laika is best at is just detail.
Yes.
I mean, Bigfoot, in every frame, is just so detailed in his fur and all the characters, what they're wearing. Yeah. It looks like it has layers.
The animation is immaculate.
It is incredible.
And it gets to a point where, like, I don't even know the filmmakers behind this. I don't know, like, there's no Pete Docter or anybody like that over at Laika. But
the work they do,
studio just does such great work on all their animation and stuff. Missing Link, though, is just a spectacular.
It's just fun.
It's funny. It's beautiful.
It's so breathtaking.
One of the biggest issues with it that I have, though, is Zoe Saldana's character.
She's not even that annoying.
She's kind of irritating for most of the movie.
She's not that annoying.
Timothy Olyphant, who's also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he plays a bounty hunter who's tracking down Bigfoot, and he's a very animated character.
Yes.
Literally, but also in like the way that he's like very like
goofy,
over the top.
Yeah.
He's like the Duke. He looks like the Duke of Wesselton from Frozen.
Right.
Very small, like grimy guy with big mustache. But yeah, it's a really funny movie.
And
I mean, we're talking about the animation.
It's got a heart.
Yeah, it does have that heart to it. It's sweeter than it is funny. I'd
true.
say a lot of the comedy falls flat.
Our next film
is Bombshell.
Someone has to speak up. Someone has to get mad.
Fox News star Gretchen Carlson dropped a major bombshell today.
What is she doing?
This could kill Fox News.
We need everyone on Team Roger.
Get it on. Put it on.
These are the end times.
You do understand I have to be above this, right?
You know the entire country is talking about your period right now.
So you're a tough guy, like you really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff.
Sweetheart, this is an island of safety and truth.
There's a man!
Ready to go to war?
Oh, yeah.
Bombshell. Okay, so Finn did not see Bombshell. I saw Bombshell because I fucking love Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie, hit me up, please. Sorry. Bombshell is about Fox News and Megyn Kelly working at Fox News. Megyn Kelly was an old anchor at Fox News who said that she got sexually harassed by the big guy at Fox News. I don't remember his fucking name, but he's played by John Lithgow, and John Lithgow does a fucking amazing job.
Is he the one in all the fat?
Yeah,
I saw that clip.
Incredible. I mean, everyone is covered in this great makeup, and it makes them look like the people from Fox. And what the fuck? Nicole Kidman plays Grindelwald or something. Something with a G.
Grimes of Grindelwald?
No, she plays some girl and she got sexually harassed in the past and then got a shitty show and then was fired, and she gets all pissed off and she starts this whole battle with lawyers against them because she's like, well, I don't work for him anymore. Why not just attack him? You know, I've already lost my fucking job, and nobody else in the workplace is sticking up for her except people who have left, and they're like, we need a representative who still goes there. And who still works there, and then Charlize Theron, Megyn Kelly comes in. She plays Megyn Kelly, which is a real news broadcaster from just a little back. This is when Trump was getting elected. It's right there.
Oh, that's recent.
She had that whole interview. She called Trump out on the news, and then they had this interview afterwards, and it was very, very big deal. I remember hearing about it, and I think I watched something back. But it's really interesting and it's really well done. It's kind of, I'll just explain Margot Robbie's character. Margot Robbie plays a combination of all the women who were sexually harassed at Fox. No, it's very Big Short and Vice kind of.
I keep asking this, in the filmmaking or in the narrative, what it's about?
Both. It really has that kind of those kind of pan while narration's going on and quick little jokes and stuff.
Okay.
And then at the same time, you got these, like, very similar angles.
Because I love Vice and The
I
Big
think
Short.
you would
I think
actually
those are really
genuinely
good.
enjoy Bombshell.
I love Adam McKay.
So, yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. It's very entertaining. It makes you think about politics and things going on today. It's a good conversation starter, and I really enjoyed it.
One of my favorite films this year was a film called The Dead Don't Die.
What the hell was it? A wild animal? This is really awful. Maybe the worst thing I've ever seen.
What was it, wild animals?
So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking zombies.
What?
You know, the undead. Ghouls.
You look gorgeous. Oh my. Are you in this together?
Flesh-eating zombies.
Don't joke, it's really, really creepy.
Oh, man. This isn't gonna end well.
Great film. We love The Dead Don't Die.
Dead Don't Die was good.
Yeah, you saw it long after I did. I saw it. I went to Cincinnati. I was very much anticipating this movie. I heard about it ahead of time. I love so much that I actually have figured out ways to hear of movies ahead of time. The only movie that I found after it came out was The Art of Self-Defense.
Yes.
We'll talk about. But a lot of these other smaller movies. I mean, not completely independent or whatever.
No.
But smaller movies that aren't hugely marketed. I see enough of them to see trailers for more, and I follow accounts that post things about them and stuff.
Right.
And so I heard of The Dead Don't Die a couple months ahead of time, and I was really looking forward to it because it was Bill Murray and Adam Driver in a zombie comedy.
Yeah, they are a good
I thought it was
duo.
funny. They're great together.
Yes.
But it really is an ensemble cast.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just
It's
the duo.
a huge cast.
It's a huge cast. Selena Gomez.
Yeah,
Bill
she
Murray,
was
Adam
great.
Driver. Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, I
Tilda
forgot he
Swinton.
was in that.
Yeah,
God
Steve
damn.
Buscemi's great in it.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton, Danny Glover, Caleb Landry Jones, who I love. He just shows up in he was in 3 Billboards and X-Men
Yeah,
First Class. He
he's
just shows up
fantastic.
every once in a while. He's a great actor. I
Yeah.
love him. But lots of actors with their little bit. They call Caleb Landry Jones Frodo because he's this small old man who works in a comic book shop.
God, I completely
And
forgot
there's
about most of this.
he's got his UPS friend who's this cool black guy who is friends
that's
with him.
Danny Glover, right?
No, Danny Glover's the old guy who goes to the diner and finds the.
Oh,
He was in Sorry to Bother. He was in Last Black Man in San
yeah,
Francisco
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But he but Caleb Landry Jones has this black friend who is a UPS guy, and he gives him packages and stuff, and he's cool. There's a little bit of homoeroticism, a little sexual tension between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But he calls him Frodo, and he's like, "You're a cool guy." And then Selena Gomez and her group come in, and one of the guys calls him Frodo, and he's like, "You just call me Frodo?" And it takes on a whole nother meaning. There's lots of neat character stuff, and that's really where the movie excels, I think.
The funniest part of the zombie apocalypse aspect is that no one cares.
Except the kids.
Except the kids. Adam Driver and Bill Murray, they're
well, they are so dry and straight. The two of them and
which
Tilda
is something
Swinton,
that's right up your alley.
Yeah, a lot of sort of relationships that that
which
are
is
sort of
interesting.
realistic because it's well, they wouldn't happen during the zombie
No.
apocalypse, but
and they don't.
It has some tension between the characters that is fun
Mhm.
in the movie. But Adam Driver and Bill Murray are just they have all these scenes where he's it's 8 o'clock. Shouldn't it be getting dark around now? I don't know. And they just kind of chat.
They just keep
and they go
talking.
there's this great there's this really great line where the girl is please tell me everything's gonna be okay and we're not gonna die and we're all gonna wake up from this dream. And then Adam Driver goes, I don't think I can say that. And lots of
Adam Driver
very, very dry.
especially.
He's so good. And this is the best, because the other 2 movies he was in this year that we saw, I didn't really like the movies as much.
Yeah.
This is the one that I saw him in that I liked. He was good in all 3, Star Wars and this and Marriage Story, but this one, of course, is my favorite because it's great writing delivered by a great actor, and I really...
Oddly enough, he seems
liked
into it, but not at the same time, because the character's not into it.
Yeah. How did you make it to the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He the twist at the end is that he's read the script.
Yeah.
And he knows
that was
he
weird.
knows what's gonna happen. It goes full meta at a certain point, and there's
very
hints of it throughout the movie that Adam Driver exists outside of the
Yeah,
movie.
he will say certain
there's the great line at the beginning where they're listening to the Dead Don't Die song, and Bill Murray's like, this song seems like oddly familiar, and Adam Driver goes, well, it's the theme song.
Yeah.
And like they say little things like that. He's like, I can't say what it is, but something about this just doesn't seem like it's gonna work out. And Bill Murray's like, what are you talking about? And he just keeps saying that like the whole movie. Every time something happens, he's like, something about this just doesn't seem like it's gonna end well for us. And there's lots of little bits like that and moments like that, and it's very funny, and it's very dry, and it's very smart, and it's needlessly complicated in bits. One of the funniest jokes in the whole movie is where Tilda Swinton, who plays this like outlandish,
like
samurai coroner.
Yeah,
she's great.
It's
she runs
so
a funeral home.
crazy. It's fucking weird.
But she's like, and she's fighting off the zombies, and then a UFO descends from space and picks her up.
And she leaves.
And she leaves. It's so good.
It goes nuts.
And she's like, can I please have your smart car, Adam Driver? And he's like, oh yeah. And he's like, would you like the keys? And he hands her the keys. And there's a
she likes Adam Driver too.
I feel like vaguely.
Yeah.
I think she's more fascinated by him.
Yeah.
Because she's an alien. But there's a Star Destroyer from Star Wars on it, and she goes, Star Wars, great fiction, and he's like, yeah, and they walk out. It's a lot of very small jokes. The funniest joke in the whole movie, the one that makes me laugh the hardest, which the movie doesn't make me laugh that hard. It's a type of comedy that makes me go, that's funny, like consistently the whole movie. It keeps my brain going more than my lungs or whatever, you know. But it's where the first death happens, and then the next morning, Danny Glover has found the bodies, and they're in the diner, and so Bill Murray gets the call, and he goes to the diner, and he goes inside, and he walks out, and he walks up to Danny Glover, and he's like, "That's just awful. What could have done that? Was it a wild animal or several wild animals?" And then Adam Driver pulls up in his little smart car, which is hysterical too, and he gets out, and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, go check inside, and Adam Driver goes in, and he comes out, and he goes, that's just awful. What do you think could have done that? Was it like a wild animal? Or several wild animals? And
it's very dry.
And then the girl drives up, and the same thing happens. And it uses repetition, and it uses a lot of callback jokes and things like that.
Yeah.
And visual gags, and it's all very smartly handled.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
It's well shot and well directed.
There's Day for Night, which is the worst visually in the
whole movie. But it's not even that bad. It's the best Day for Night I've ever fucking seen.
That's correct. That's true. But you shouldn't use Day for Night.
Yeah, no.
Jim Jarmusch, what are you doing? It was my first time seeing a Jim Jarmusch movie. I don't know his filmography at all. Not even a little bit. So I couldn't name another movie that he's done. Like, I've never even heard of him until this movie. But apparently he's a famous filmmaker. No, speaking of Adam Driver, Marriage Story.
What I love about Nicole, she is a mother who plays, really plays.
What I love about Charlie, he loves being a dad. He loves all the things you're supposed to hate, like waking up at night.
She knows when to push me and when to leave me alone.
He never lets other people keep him from what he wants to do.
Dad, you're too far.
I know. It's not easy for her to close a cabinet.
He's incredibly neat.
She's brave.
He's brilliant. He's very competitive. So I'll tell Charlie what's happening, and Cassie, you then hand him the envelope.
I just get nervous.
Well, can you unserve?
What do you mean, like take it back? Charlie and I are getting a divorce, Mom. You can't be friends with him anymore.
Gee, Mom! Charlie Bird! Mom!
Mom? Mom!
What?
Marriage Story.
The big Adam Driver vehicle of the year.
We are in the minority.
I was pumped for this movie. I heard about it, and I said, that sounds fantastic. And I waited months to see it, and then it came out, and then I didn't see it for another month and a half, and then I saw it, and I said, it was like less than fine.
It really comes down to you hate Scarlett Johansson.
There's a real balancing issue because it's supposed to be about this divorce and you're supposed to relate to both characters but Scarlett Johansson is just a bitch.
She's just
who hires an even bigger bitch as her lawyer. Laura Dern plays her.
Yeah, they agreed to not have lawyers, and then she just goes and hires a lawyer, and like, why are you doing this?
And then,
you're awful.
And she doesn't have much of a real motivation for the things that she does. And all you see from Adam Driver is he loves his kid. And
he's the one who like cared about the kid's education.
That's the other thing.
And
he teaches the kid. He works with the kid. He tries to make the kid a better person.
He's
a good father to the kid. He tries his best to spend. I mean, the kid lives in L.A. and multiple times he tries to come out to L.A. to see the kid. Tries to get the kid to come back to New York temporarily to do Halloween in New York and stuff. Lots of things like that. And every step of the way, Scarlett Johansson is getting in his way of seeing his kid.
Being an absolute bitch.
And you're expected to relate to both of them.
I just don't see how you can.
And then at the end of the movie, they both share custody of the kid and have a nice relationship again.
And it's not fair. It's
which doesn't make
fair
any
to Adam.
sense. Yeah, and so it's a really unbalanced movie narratively, and for me especially, I think you liked it better than I did because it is well shot. And
actually, that was one of my least favorite parts of this movie.
Oh really?
Yeah.
There's some
it's very Wes Anderson, and I fucking hate Wes Anderson. Very flat, dead on.
You really got Wes Anderson vibes from that?
Yeah, very much.
Maybe it's because the colors weren't there.
Wes
Anderson.
It's more of just how it looks and what the angles are. It's very just dead on. He's in the center of the frame. Everything is symmetrical. Nothing is good.
There's also a lot of scenes of talking without much happening. There's that wonderful, wonderful fight scene where you actually do see some of Scarlett Johansson's perspective for like a scene.
That scene is very solid. That's what makes the movie.
And that's the scene you see everywhere. And then there's some company music. I love company.
Yeah, Adam Driver can sing.
Adam Driver can sing moderately well. It's not the most beautiful voice I've ever heard, but he can sing. He's on pitch and it's supported and it's good. Talk about Queen and Slim.
Queen and Slim.
Can I ask you something? What took you so long to respond to me? I sent you a very well-crafted message 3 weeks ago. And today, out of the blue, you hit me up asking if you want to grab dinner. What changed?
I didn't feel like being alone. Not tonight.
So you turned to Tinder. So what happens tonight?
Did you think we were gonna have sex?
Nah, look at you. No. I thought we were gonna hang out, maybe get to know each other.
Failed to execute a turn signal back there.
Go ahead and ask you to step out of the vehicle for me. Could you please hurry up?
What did you say?
It's just cold.
Get on the ground! Keep your hands where I can see them!
Why is he under arrest? What is your badge number?
Chill, just chill!
I'm reaching for my cell phone!
Now let's go.
Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you stay.
Cop killers! Cop killers!
It was self-defense.
Queen and Slim is the new Daniel Kaluuya movie. Yeah, so it's Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith. They're on this Tinder date. They met on Tinder. And they went to this little place. And they went to dinner, and then they're driving home, and a cop pulls them over and threatens them with a gun. And she is a lawyer, and he is kind of like down in the dumps kind of guy. But he's a family man. Family's very important to him. And she's like, you can't just do that. You gotta pull out that. And then she's like reaching for his wallet, and the cop shoots her in the fucking leg. And that doesn't sit right with Daniel Kaluuya, so Daniel Kaluuya tackles him to the fucking ground. And Daniel Kaluuya takes the cop's gun and shoots the cop dead. Which is really interesting
with him.
Parts of the movie. So they go on this huge police hunt to find these 2 black people who shot this cop, even though they were in the right. Because the cop car's footage got leaked. And it's just about them trying to get to Florida to get on a plane to go to Cuba to get away. And it's just really interesting. It's very just driven by the characters and you just wanting them to succeed. And in the end, they both get shot dead right before they get on the plane. Which is really upsetting because you're like, oh my god, they're so close. They're like holding hands. And she just goes, will you be my legacy? And he goes, you already are. But it like cuts off halfway and she just gets fucking shot in the heart. And you're like, holy fuck. Like, it made my heart sink in the theater. It was really, really upsetting. Just really powerful performances. The score for this movie is incredible. it's these like little piano pieces with violin, and it's just beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. So go take a listen if you would like to.
You know what else is fucking incredible?
Yeah.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Okay.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokemon.
Tim, your dad was a legend in this precinct. If you were anything like your dad...
I'm not.
I remember. You wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when you were young.
Yeah, that didn't really work out. Someone there? Whoever you are, I know how to use this.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
I know, you can't understand me, but put down the stapler or I will electrocute you.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu is one of the most interesting movies I saw all year. Even though it was like in the middle of my list, I had to talk about it because it's the most batshit like if you're like, I know what would be in a Pokemon movie or even in a Detective Pikachu movie, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's so strange. And you might have been tipped off to that because Ryan Reynolds voices Pikachu, which is a very strange casting choice, obviously. But it's so weird because the Justice Smith, who was in Jurassic World 2. I mean, this is really what I wanted to talk about. We can move on pretty much besides this. His dad dies in a car accident, and halfway through the movie, the kid finds his dad. He's been spending all this time trying to find his dad. He thinks his dad could still be alive, and he's trying to find him. And he is shown the footage of his dad dying in a car accident, and he's sitting outside crying, talking to Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu about how he wishes he could have reconnected with his father because his father and him grew distant after his mother died of cancer when he was a child. And he's sitting there bawling his eyes out talking about this with Detective Pikachu. And it's the most tone-deaf movie I've ever seen. And it's fascinating. And so I was kind of blown away by it, and we saw it under pretty great circumstances because the theater going experience was also mind-blowing and strange because there was a couple borderline having sex like down the row from us. It
was not okay.
And it was really, really funny and over the top, and we had a really nice time, and it was a hysterically stupid and strange movie.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it to people. Like, I can't say like go watch it.
I will say the Pokemon did not look bad.
The CGI on the Pokemon is great. Yeah. Like, if you just want to see Pokemon on a screen, like, this is the best way to do it.
That's right.
Like the opening sequence is Justice Smith is trying to catch Pokemon, and he's like, he can't because he's goofy. And then the next scene he's like, yeah, I'm an insurance agent, and I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? Why are there insurance agents in
very
Pokemon?
Dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's a stupid movie.
Dumb fun.
I saw this, but I don't have much to say about it. Go talk about the Peanut Butter Falcon.
There's sheep in this world, and there are wolves in this world. And I know that you two boys are just two weary travelers who lost your way. So, we're gonna clean you up right with a baptism.
I'm more a baptism by fire type.
Okay.
Come to my wrestling school and become a badass.
That's what he wants to do with the rest of his life.
Yes, it is.
You let a half-naked boy with Down syndrome who has no idea how to get along in this world just slip out from under your nose. You two are close.
We are.
Well, then you'll figure out where he's at and you'll bring him back.
Are you following me?
Maybe we could be friends and buddies, bro dogs, and chill. Have a good time.
You said the wrestling school's in Aiden?
Yes.
One long road leads all the way down. I'll drop you there then.
I'm looking for a missing person. Have you seen him?
Little man on a lamb. Met your girlfriend back there, Eleanor. 2 bandits on the run.
Oh, yeah!
Rule number 1, don't slow me down. Rule number 2, I'm in charge. Hey, what's rule number 1?
Party.
No.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
You loved this movie.
Great movie.
I thought it was
another
below
Shia
average.
LaBeouf movie. It's about this little Down syndrome kid, and he lives in a retirement home because people have to keep watch on him. But he loves to wrestle.
He loves wrestling.
He's really obsessed with this wrestler that he watches the same tape over and over of this wrestler.
Played by Thomas Hayden Church.
Played by Sandman. The Sandman man.
From Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, and Shia LaBeouf, his brother had passed away, and he's kind of this scandalous, kind of mischievous boater, fish crab guy, and he's just like really down in his dumps. And the two of them come across each other because the little kid escapes, and Shia LaBeouf makes it his duty to go and get this kid to meet his wrestler that he really is falling in love with. So they go across Florida and try to get him to where he needs to be, and it's just it's like Rudy in the way where it just like makes you feel
an
good.
underdog story. I'd say my biggest problem with the movie, and I've talked to you about this, is its surface level makes you feel good because the end of the movie they start treating him like a real person, but there are so many jokes throughout the movie because the kid is played by a real shouldn't say kid because he's like 20.
No, he's like 24 or 25.
Yeah.
But he is played by
a real person with Down syndrome. And it's not treated as a gimmick, but there are a lot of jokes where the joke is basically that he's dumb because he has Down syndrome.
Yes.
He, like, the one I always point out is when Shia LaBeouf goes, number one rule is keep up with me. And then they're, like, walking, and he goes, what's the number one rule? And he goes, party! And it's awful.
It's not awful.
It's, like, it's funny. It's funny. It would be funny if it were in, like, South Park, and, like, this kid with Down syndrome showed up. Like, that would be funny. But in the context of a movie that is supposed to make you feel like people with Down syndrome could do anything, he can't remember a rule that was just spoken to him, but he can win a wrestling match, like, or he can succeed in society. Like it's not. I don't think the movie is balanced in that respect because it does treat him like a comedic relief. I don't know. So it has those elements of really genuinely making you feel good, but then it also has elements of like.
I don't have much to say about it. I just enjoyed it.
You just liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like Shia LaBeouf, and I like that kid. He's really good.
Speaking of Thomas Hayden Church, who was in Spider-Man 3, we saw Spider-Man 2, Far From Home.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
What?
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work. Because I am going on vacation.
You can take this one because I don't give a shit.
I wanted to talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man Far From Home is great. Jake Gyllenhaal is in it, which makes it great. A lot of fun action, a lot of fun characters, a lot of fun times. What I thought was really interesting was the way that they handled the relationship between Peter Parker and MJ, and the parallels they drew between that and the relationship between Ned and Betty Brant, which was really funny. It's very funny. There's lots of jokes about that and how disingenuous the relationship is, and then how like cute and genuine the relationship is between Peter Parker and MJ. I thought was really neat, and I was surprised at how well they handled MJ because in Homecoming she was like throwaway character and nobody cared. Yeah, kind of dumb. And there's still some jokes in this one where she becomes like a weird, kooky conspiracy theorist for no reason.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense and isn't really funny. But then there are a lot of like sweet moments where she's just where the joke is more like that she's like a dry, sarcastic asshole, which can still be sort of likable and especially when paired with how like pure and innocent Peter Parker is in these movies.
It was good.
It was a really solid Spider-Man movie. I would say it's probably my second favorite Spider-Man movie, right behind Spider-Man 2002. Speaking of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 2002, Sam Raimi, who directed that, produced, Crawl.
The state of Florida has issued a Category 5 hurricane warning. All residents must evacuate immediately. Grab your families, your loved ones, and get out.
Dad!
We won't be able to come for you.
Dad! Dad! Oh my God. What happened?
Haley, are you hurt?
I'm fine. Hello, can anybody hear me? I'm trapped with my father in our house in Coral Lake. Please send help.
Haley!
Wait, down here.
Pete, you hear that?
Crawl is about the storm hits Florida, and the storm brings in a bunch of fucking gators from
And
the
this guy is
swamps.
stuck in the
And
in
this
his
guy
basement,
is
and
stuck
his
in his
daughter
basement.
comes to help him, and they survive the gators. God damn it!
They survive the gators.
It's really
It's just schlock.
but it's not good schlock.
No.
It's shitty schlock.
Gators look good though. I will say that.
In parts,
I thought it
they
looked
looked
pretty good.
awful.
I don't know. It's really just the bad acting that really ruins it for me.
It's the bad writing. It's the bad direction. Like the visuals of it.
It's just not good.
It's just not good. Don't see Crawl.
Don't see it.
There's no transition for this. The art of self-defense.
I want you to tell me why you're here.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of other men. I want to be what intimidates me.
You came to the right place.
I'm taking my first class today.
Your new white belt?
Is that the first belt color?
White is before color. You haven't earned color yet.
Today's lesson: to kick with your fists and punch with your feet.
That makes perfect sense.
Good. There's a mental component as well. Everything should be as masculine as possible. You may want to start on those reports. That pilot's getting awfully high up.
I won't be petting you anymore. This is for your own good.
What's your favorite style of music?
Adult contemporary.
No. Should be metal. You're a blade and I'm sharpening you. I see a little of myself in you.
Is that you, Sensei? Why are you filming this?
This isn't a safe place, Casey.
One day he's going to get dog food, and he gets the shit kicked out of him by, like, mysterious bikers. And they leave. And inspires him to go and get a gun. But then he decides he doesn't want a gun. He wants to be trained in martial arts. So he joins a karate class taught by this mysterious sensei guy. And things go insane from there. It's very dry. It's very dark. It's
fucking
funny
insane.
in a lot of parts, but it's also
That
mostly
night class where he just like breaks the guy's arm, and then you're just like, oh, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And then it just goes off the rails.
Yeah, the cinematography is great.
Yeah, very
the unraveling of the plot is
That's an
well
example
done.
of something that isn't very Wes Anderson, but still is like flat.
Yes.
And I think it honestly comes down to the colors.
Yeah.
Marriage Story.
Very dark.
Dark. It's dark.
It's very a lot
Marriage
of scenes
Story
of,
and a lot of Wes Anderson movies are very bright colors.
Yeah, a lot of scenes of Jesse Eisenberg sitting in his house with the lights off.
Yeah.
A lot of scenes of him coming home at night or walking through the streets at night, with these little sparks of light from the TV or from the street lights or whatever it is. But I mean, the brightest it gets is when he's in when he's in the dojo. Because my thing is narrative structure.
Right.
It's my favorite thing on earth. You can have the shittiest characters in the world, and I don't care as long as the plot makes sense and you're doing what you're supposed to do. And this is that. The next film you liked more than I did, but we still both liked it quite a bit, The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Last Black Man in San Francisco.
I always come back to the old house. What if it's empty? What if we just peeked inside?
We could throw parties. You could put on one of your plays. We could yell.
Where is this house?
Our old house.
That's not your old house, and that's not your neighborhood.
Alright, Last Black Man in San Francisco. He's based on a real person, I guess, named Jimmy
Fails. Jimmy Fails plays Jimmy Fails, and this time that's not even the joke. That's literally what it is.
The story. It's based off of his life, I guess. It's about him, and he is obsessed with this house, and he sneaks in.
Well, it's his father's house.
Yeah, it's his father's old house, but it's not really
it's his right to have.
Doesn't it end up not being his home?
Yes,
like, that's a whole thing.
Yes, that's the twist.
But he wants to get into it and make it his own and paint it, and he's like working on this house, and they finally get in. I'm not good at describing.
It's really all about what you own and how much is your birthright.
Yeah.
And what he discovers, I think, as the movie goes on, this is my interpretation of it. It's a smart movie, but
Yes.
what he discovers is that he doesn't own the material house in San Francisco, but he has the experience of being in San Francisco that the people who would live in that house don't have.
Yeah.
Because he's on the subway towards the end of the movie, or not the subway, the trolley towards the end of the movie, and he's and there's this white couple, there's two white girls talking about how inconvenient it is living in San Francisco, and of course the whole movie he's spent poor and living off of his friend who's almost as poor as he is, and trying desperately to get his house back and all that kind of thing, and he just leans over to them and he's like, don't talk about San Francisco unless, Now here's a movie, I mean, if you want to talk about being divided, the most divisive opinion I had all year, Joker is not a good movie.
Joker is a good movie.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by.
What?
If you smile to your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll find that life is still worthwhile. If you
What's so funny?
Freak! As a guy who likes narrative structure, it's not a very well structured movie.
It doesn't have a structure. It's just about him.
It's a character study in the worst sense.
Yes. No.
In that
it's a character study.
Literally just,
and it's done very well.
It's literally scene after scene of Arthur is sad. And here's why Arthur is sad.
On a rewatch, not that many. There were less. I think it just hits harder the first time.
He is great.
Joaquin Phoenix is so
He is great.
good.
The guy who plays Thomas Wayne is... It believes itself to be smarter than it is.
I don't get that vibe.
As a script, it is not that intelligent.
I can't imagine the script being anything but Arthur Fleck looks in mirror, Arthur Fleck hops in for
like Todd Phillips as an artist is not an intelligent screenwriter at all. He didn't have something to really say with this movie. Next up is a movie that we both loved. Knives Out.
I'm Detective Lieutenant Elliot, and this is Trooper Wagner.
We just want to ask a few questions.
We understand the night of his demise, the family have gathered to celebrate your father's 85th birthday. How was it, by the way?
The party? Pre my dad's death? Oh, it was great.
Knives Out!
One of the best movies of the year.
Knives Out was fantastic.
Excellent movie.
I hate Rian Johnson. This movie made me like him slightly more. I'd say the best thing about Knives Out is that it tells you who committed the crime basically right off the bat.
Sort of. That's what's so great, is because I wouldn't say right off the bat, but about halfway through, you figure out who it is.
Pretty early
They tell you they tell you who it is, and then it's still interesting because there's still a mystery present.
Yes.
And so it goes from a whodunit to a who's doing it
currently
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting and really neat. A lot of really fun characters. I wish Rian Johnson, this is one of my biggest problems with the movie, I wish he used the ensemble more.
Yeah,
because Jamie Lee
started
Curtis,
to be less useful.
Jamie Lee Curtis in particular is set up as this really interesting character, and they become more of like a mob. Like every once in a while they get their thing where Michael Shannon comes and visits the main girl
at her
house and like has a fun scene with her where he's like kind of creepy and whatever. He's got a cane. Michael Shannon's great.
Michael Shannon is great.
But like Jamie Lee Curtis and some of the other people, or girl from 13 Reasons Why has her scene where she like calls the main girl and they have like a conversation.
But they all share this common.
But they have that
like
mob mentality, and they sort of lose their ability to have separate scenes with one another, which comes with that interesting twist on whodunit of knowing who did it and wanting to know who's currently doing it. Because then you don't have all of them breaking apart and fighting each other over who did it.
Right.
Everybody kind of moves on from it.
Because they want the inheritance.
Yeah.
If they get none of it.
And there's also not enough Lakeith Stanfield. I love Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors, and it's not in the movie nearly enough.
But he's good.
But he's good, and so is Daniel Craig, and so is the other cop. Just like The Dead Don't Die. There's the two famous people cops who are straight men, and then there's the other cop who's like this goofy person.
It's funny.
He reminded me of what's the guy from SNL, Taron Killam.
Yeah.
Sort of had that vibe. He looked like him.
Yeah.
Visually too, which I'm sure helped. But I could see that character being played by Taron Killam. But whoever they had playing him was great. He was funny, and there are some good scenes with the dead guy. Christopher Plummer's character, who dies before the events of the movie, but there's good flashbacks with him. And Chris Evans is great.
Chris Evans is really great. I was nervous about him because he looked very
the movie in the trailer looked like it could be awful shit or hysterical and smart.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the latter. Mm-hmm. Pretty solidly the latter, which I was surprised by. I thought it might go half and half, go back and forth between those types of things. But it maintained a really strong tone and vision to it. It was a Rian Johnson film.
Oh, yes.
And aside from...
I think he's a better writer than he is director.
I thought there were some neat visuals. I thought he could have used the architecture of the house a lot better. Because, like, in the opening, the maid finds the guy's dead body. And she comes through, like, this secret compartment with, like, a door that's like a half a trapezoid. And it's like, or not even. It's like a thing, and then just the triangle, and like I wish there was more architecture like that throughout the whole house. And maybe it's just because they used a real house and it didn't have architecture like that.
It was more.
I know famously, they filmed scenes with the where like characters who were wearing glasses would have been looking in the direction of a window, so they took like these lights that we're using and they put like window replica like
shield thing?
Yeah, sort of thing where it would project onto the glasses like
a window,
like the window would have, which I thought was neat. They like had some smart attention to detail stuff. That room where they do the interviews with the big knife throne was really neat, and the piano, hitting the B on the piano over and over again, and lots of good scenes. There's a really funny like car chase scene
I will say the movie does not look good.
I disagree.
We've talked about
I like the
this
cinematography
before.
quite a bit, actually. I think it's one of the better looking movies of the year.
I don't like it. It's not bad, it's just...
And then, so, we figured Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would be, like, the most obvious thing ever. So
Yes.
we didn't want to end it with the big reveal that our favorite movie was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I guess I've given this away in parts.
Yeah.
But our second favorite movie is also the same between the two of us.
That is correct.
And it is The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse.
Tell me, what's a timberman want with being a wiki?
Just looking to earn a living, just like any man. Starting new.
On the run. Keeping secrets, are you?
No, sir.
Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans? How long have we been on this rock?
With Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
Now, you disagree, but this is my favorite horror movie I've ever seen.
I don't think it is a horror movie.
I think it's pretty definitively a horror movie because it's essentially The Shining.
I think it is a dark comedy fantasy film.
Yeah, but I think this movie treats it in the same way that The Shining does. The Shining is a movie that doesn't really hit that hard for me. And I think this movie
Shining hits hard for me.
This movie might not last, in 30 years or whatever. Kids might watch The Lighthouse and be like, whatever. That very first scare is truly
the mermaid,
horrifying.
Him being obsessed with this
motif
mermaid
of the
doll
mermaid.
and like masturbating to this mermaid doll. Every
Yeah,
fucking
it's
scene.
about losing your sanity. It's about an
Yeah.
unreliable narrative.
We didn't ever really talk about the plot. We just kind of talked about started talking about what we liked about it. It's about
Robert Pattinson joins Willem Dafoe.
Joins Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is like the lighthouse watchkeeper kind of
This
guy.
is like 1800s.
And he gets a new assistant all the time.
Yeah.
And Robert Pattinson is his new assistant, and they are supposed to watch him for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I think. And then a storm hits, and they're stuck there for longer.
A lot of repeated images and horror images, which feed into the themes of
Yes.
repetition and the drolling life of being
When
a
it's over,
housekeeper assistant.
When it's over, you don't want it to end. I wanted it to keep going. I was like, there needs to be more.
Ended at the
I want it to be
for
more.
me, it ended at the perfect spot. I mean, you could have cut out that final shot. But
I thought the shot fit because of what he did earlier with the bird.
The fart jokes.
Fart jokes were only at the beginning, though.
No, the fart jokes lasted through most of the movie.
Uh-uh.
There were scenes late in the movie where he's trying to get the key to go up to the lighthouse, and Willem Dafoe's farting. I mean, it's stupid. It's really dumb. It did not fit the tone of the movie at all. Because a lot of the comedy was a lot more dry and clever, like that scene where he's like, "You don't like my cooking?"
Yeah.
That's really the biggest comedy scene in the whole movie for me. Crazy movie.
It's
really
so good.
great.
It's so good.
Really,
I can't wait to get it.
Yeah.
January 7th.
Really engaging horror, really smart comedy, and really well-written characters.
Fantastic.
And that was 2019.
That was 2019. It's been a journey.
We talked about
Thanks
22
so much.
movies today.
We talked about 22 films.
We saw a lot more. We
did.
So many good movies. Few bad movies, but mostly really great.
And let us know anything else you'd like to see, whether
Yeah.
it's movie related or not. If you like Finn, just in general, let me know. I can try to put them into things. I'm gonna start posting some movies this year, some actual short filmage, which is exciting because that's what I want to do with my life, which is cool.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Yeah, the equipment is getting better. Everything's getting better. Got a new mic stuff to test it out. But hope you guys all had a great Christmas and Happy New Year, motherfuckers.
Happy New Year.
See you guys in 2020.
Alright, fuck them.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
This video
Jesus
gonna be
Christ. Get the
fucking
fuck out of my
bullshit.
room.
Fuck yourself.